options, we get two choices every time, every day by this life. By this time, if you're watching these videos, I'm sure you want to improve yourself, you want to develop yourself, and you want to create authentic influence around your life. By this time, if you've attended a few workshops and you might have been reading a few books to develop your own self, then you probably know that people talk about responding and reacting to life. When you are engulfed in circumstances, when you're immersed in a situation, you probably want to, you are designed to react and you are designed to respond. But do you react instinctively, or do you respond by choice in a deliberate manner is something that you are very interested in, and probably you might have been learning a lot about until now. Hello, I'm Ranjan Kumar, founder Mystic Fusion International and Authentic Influence Coach. Now, in this video, I'm going to talk about responding and reacting, of course, but in a little different way, because I feel that, each time we decide to deliberately respond to life, there are two choices always which are available right in front of your eyes. The one is to live in fear, and the second is to show up with courage. Every choice, every decision that we make is either an expression of fear or an expression of courage. I still remember in the beginnings of 1990s, when I wanted to learn a language, and I approached somebody, I went to them, I requested them, I implored them to teach me the language, and it took about a couple of months to come to grips with the language. But then very soon, when I started making these bold moves and showing up with courage, it was in no time that I started understanding and learning the language. And in 2003, I wrote my first book in this language. Now, there are many such instances in life when I've seen people responding with courage, and then the courage bringing up the circumstances, the way the results could be created and manifested, the way we dream and desire for them. Now, but there is a way that there is biologically we are trained to react in fear, and somehow we fall prey to our own fears and our own choices and decision to live in fear. It's not about your bold, bigger moves that I'm talking about. It's the smallest of the choices that you make every day. It's your smallest of the decisions that you make every day that shows how you show up in that moment. Do you live in fear each moment, or do you respond in courage? Do you show up with courage? When I'm talking about courage, I'm talking about the decision that you made this morning to be in yourself, the decision that you made to express to your friends, the decision that you made to be candid in your conversations, the decisions that you made, the choices that you made to talk about with your boss, the decisions that you made. Now, let me ask you, well, if you have been interested in personal development and personal transformation for a very long time, at least for 2-3 years, then I'm sure at one point you might have felt that I have a book to be written. I have a message to be delivered. I have so much that I know personally about life that probably I can go out and I can share my message with people. I can speak about something that's original for me, that's authentic for me, and that's something so close to me because of the experiences I had in life, and because of what I made out of those experiences that I had. You might have a story of your family, you might have a story behind you of your marriage, you might have a story about your friends, you might have a story about your addiction, you might have a story about your courage, you might have a story about your decisions, you might have a story about your kids, you might have a story about your teachers, you might have a story about your street, you might have a story about the organization that you represent. There is a story inside you. Now, when I listen to a few great leaders, I've often been told that we are a collection of stories. We are influenced by the stories that we are told and those that we tell ourselves. My question to you is, in spite of the stories that we tell ourselves, what do we do each moment? You know what? We make choices, we make decisions irrespective of the stories that we tell ourselves. The question is, do you tell the stories of fear? Do you tell the stories of courage? Do you manifest? Do you express the stories of fear? Do you express the story of courage? What do? It's something more than the stories that you tell yourself. It's about your choice, to choose the kind of story that you would want to express through your life, through your choices, through your decisions. I still remember the times when I had to take a very bold move, very bold decision I had to make, and probably that could have given a big blow to my career, given a big blow to my family life, or given a big blow to me financially. And I decided to go about it. I decided to implement it. I decided to put it into action, and then I remembered it really gave me something which I would never have experienced if I had never made that decision. I'm asking you, what are the stories of courage that you have lived? What are those stories when you really made a bold move in your life, when it was very difficult, when it was very tough, when the times were very testing, and you decided to go about them, you decided to change the story, you decided to change the course of your action. My question to you is, you have such stories in the making every single day. And when you have such moments of choice, when you have to decide between living in fear and showing up with courage, what do? You curl yourself down into fear, or do you become the flower, the expression, the blossoming of courage that you're actually born with? Fear actually is the layer that we have put upon ourselves. We have masked ourselves with because of the way we were treated. We were told about the world, and since our parents wanted us to be very safe and secured and wanted to nourish us and nurture us with good intention, they wanted us to be scared of the dangers that are outside, and we slowly got so trained to be afraid of this life and world that we started living a life of fear instead of showing up with courage. If I have to tell you the boldest story ever, then I must tell you that you existing on this planet is the boldest move this life could have ever made through you. You are the best expression of courage. You are the best expression of life, alive, breathing life today, this moment. And that nothing could be more courageous than wanting to improve yourself, wanting to develop yourself, wanting to be here, live and breathe life on this planet. You've already done that. You've already manifested courage. You just have to do a few moves. You just have to make a few choices. You just have to make a few decisions. That becomes an expression of the true courage that you are. Ask yourself, what are you doing in the moment of choices? What do you do in those moments of decision making? Do you decide to live in fear, or do you decide to show up with courage? What are you doing with your dreams? What are you doing with your desires? What are you doing with your to-do lists? What are you doing with your insights? How fast are you acting upon them? How quickly are you responding to them? How massively are you acting upon them? This is the question that you must be asking. And if you are not satisfied with them, if you are not fulfilled within, if you are not satisfied by the pace of growth that you are seeing in your life and by the pace of movement that you are making in your life, then probably you're actually living something in fear. You are somewhere living in fear, and probably you're forgetting that you yourselves are an expression of life, and hence you are an expression of courage. I would want to remind you that you are the most courageous step that evolution of life has ever taken on this planet. You are the manifestation of courage. You are the beautiful expression of life, and hence courage. Be that expression, be that bold move, and be that bold decision that would express your truest potential, which is going to bring out the best in you, because that's the most important thing millions of people are waiting to see, to feel, and to be influenced by. You are the most authentic influencer that I've ever seen. You are the human being that I'm talking to. And human being is itself the most authentic influencer ever born on this planet. Think about it. Be the best expression. And I would want you to make a mention about your experiences in the comments below. I would love to listen from you. Love you.